Good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Good morning. Happy Friday. Feeling a little bit like a bit of a train wreck today, but you know what? There's my house. See, that's my house. That's the part you guys don't see. So, for those of you that ever wondered, what is she and where is she? I am at the kitchen table. See, there's my kitchen table, all my junk everywhere. And that's where I do all my lives. This is where I do all my work. This is where I come up with everything that I need to be able to help you guys and to make sure you guys are getting the best information and the best of what I have to offer, which is my decades and decades of experience. So there you go. Anyways, a little bit crazy this morning only because it has, well, not even crazy. We had our cat. She got spayed the other day. So she's just been a real little snuggle bum and we've been spending a lot of time with her. So that's kind of cool. So let me just adjust this. There we go. All right. So today I wanted to talk to you about raising entitled children. Now, there was a really cool live video that I put on our and added as an announcement. My mouth will work one day soon. Maybe not today, but we're going to hope. And we were just going to kind of go over what that was about. She had been sick. So Meredith is her name, and it's in the announcement. So if you want to go back and watch it. And she was just had it up to her eyeballs. And she was going on about how she just was done. She'd been sick for a week. Her kids wouldn't do anything to help her out. They're just being real little toads. And she just had it. Now, her kids were not little. They are, in their teens. So they are more than capable of helping out and being independent. And what it was is that she realized she had been raising entitled kids and she didn't even realize it. So I want to talk about that today and how, especially now with us being in our homes all the time. Hang on, let me just do this. Light in my eyes there. Now I can see. Hi. So she was just really finding that over time she had inadvertently, or from what I've gathered, not realized that she was raising entitled children. Now it's a lot like when we are raising our own kids and we are, all of a sudden the behaviors have kind of gotten out of hand from one little, sassy remark to the next thing, they're bossing you around and they basically are calling you by your first name and been there, done that. And just really just kind of run off the rails. But it's so subtle and it's just insidious. It just sneaks up on you. So I wanted to bring this to your attention so that we could maybe have so that we can have a really good discussion about this. So if you are just hopping on, make sure you say who you are, where you're from. Let me know what your business is or what you're doing. And for those of you that don't know me, because we do have a lot of new people that are watching these videos, my name is Corina. Hi, everyone. I'm affectionately known as Auntie Corina from the licensed family daycare that I ran for over 15 years. Now, I've always been a kid whisperer. I adore children. I'm like a Pied Piper with them. They come to me random, crazy places. It's really neat. I get to see them all the time. And I just really been following my heart. Now, I kind of got into this almost by duh. And the reason I can say by duh, and duh is that I hit my head a few years ago and I developed what's called hemiplegic migraines, which is like a half body migraine. So half my body misfires and does strange things. Kind of looks like you're having a stroke, but you are not. It's really rare. And because of that hit in the head, my history, this is what I developed. So I went from Mach 5 in my life to on a couch taking an hour to recover or 45 minutes to recover from making a cup of tea. So I had to find a different way to earn some income because I was doing mobile blinds. So now what I did is that I started with an MLM, which I love and loved. And I was with that and I was working with that. But I found after a little while, moms are asking me more about their kids than mascara. So I figured, and all of a sudden it just kind of clicked one day. What am I doing? Yeah, duh. See, there's the duh connected. Why wasn't I helping moms parent their kids? Because it's something I've been doing for decades, just innately, just did it. And then when I was doing the daycare, people really just asked me a lot. They're like, okay, the kids are super well behaved here. How come they're not doing this at home? And I would give them tips and give them ideas. And they were just like, oh my goodness. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I ended up being here. teaching you. So people say to me, well, what makes you the expert? And I'm like, well, really, been there, done that, got 30 years under my belt, helped over 83 people registered in my daycare raise their kids. So yeah, that makes me an expert. So there you go. I'm also one of the most well-read, independently taught parent coaches out there. Just love to get more and more information. So that's why I kind of dove into this entitlement thing. And I did catch myself doing this years ago. So like I said, it's very subtle. And especially with now with us working our businesses at home, we want to, share the successes with our family. And the way we do that is quite often by doing things for our kids or getting them things. Now, in that video that I posted, she wasn't necessarily talking about material things. What she was talking about is when she was ill and she asked her kids to do stuff, that kind of blew her off. And they kind of got into this sense of, well, you should do it for me. And I thought, okay, let's talk about it. So let's get going with that. So I want to kind of discuss how sneaky it is. We kind of You ever been in that situation where you ask your kid to do something and they don't do it, and you ask them and you ask them, and eventually you just get frustrated and you just do it yourself? Been there, done that. Or what about, it's just easier for me to clean the kitchen by myself, or I'm just going out the door, I may as well take the garbage anyways, or, oh, I'll just grab that and put it in their room, right? We do it all the time. And we don't even realize that in a way, yeah, it's easier for us. Oh, absolutely. But we're really not helping our kids. We are not teaching our children how to look around them, how to be aware of the needs of others, how to look and see what needs being done without us going, do this, do this, do this, because that just doesn't make for good employees later. It doesn't make for great adults. And trust me, your future in-laws will just not be happy with you. So what we can do is really start opening our eyes to the subtle and small ways that we are catching ourselves doing things for our kids because A, it's easier, B, we don't want the hassle, or C, we just don't even think about it. We just do it. It sets kids up with a sense of, well, somebody else is going to take care of me. Somebody else is going to do everything for me. And that gives them that sense of, well, I'm really extra important. I mean, we know they're important, but they're not that important. We want our kids to realize that they can look after others and get their needs met while they take care of the needs of others. We aren't raising children, we are raising adults. Think about that. We're not raising kids, we're raising adults that we want to be proud of, right? So there you go. So that's kind of where I was kind of going with the whole thing of that it's so sneaky. And I caught myself doing it so many times. I didn't blow my cork about it like Meredith did in the video, but I sure caught myself a couple of times because my mom would go, why are you doing that? So you can do a ton of different things to help encourage your children to be more independent, how you can kind of hold yourself back from inadvertently reinforcing your kids' sense of entitlement. It could be anything from saying, no, you're not having this for a snack, to uh, we can go to the park, but not until you're done your things, or I need this, this, and this completed before we can do that. It could be anything from, maybe you put their laundry on each step, and they're required to take the laundry from their step to put it in the dresser drawers in their room without you telling them. It could be as simple as having them take their plates from the lunch table and putting it in the dishwasher. That way you're not picking up everything. It's really small stuff. And when we think about it for a little bit, we kind of go, oh my gosh. It could be from putting our kids' shoes on when they're completely capable of putting them on themselves. So it's really about pushing them a little bit beyond their comfort zone at times, but it's also about setting expectations of what you want from your children while you're raising them. And this kind of goes right into my 3 pillars of parenting philosophy. And the thing I talk to you guys a lot about is about how you're going to communicate the consequences, natural or logical, and the behavior that you're addressing. So if you want to address your child constantly just sitting at the table going, where's lunch? You can address it by communicating with them saying, you need to come and set the table for lunch. It's time for lunch, come set the table. They don't set the table, they don't get lunch, right? You don't have to say anything. It's kind of a logical sequence of events. It's time to get our coats on and go outside. They don't want to wear their coat. Well, then they're cold. That's a natural consequence. So explaining to your kids, not even explaining, because I find people talk too much to their kids. It's annoying. It's just ridiculous. They sit there and explain it to them like they're 30 years old. Kids just tune out. Sometimes we just need to say, you need to do this. Why? Because mom said so. Not all the time, but now and again. It's a good thing for them to know. And it's a good thing for them to learn that not everything is negotiable, because when we're adults, do we get to negotiate everything? If we're speeding and we get pulled over, do we get to negotiate with the police officer? Probably not. If you are trying to negotiate with your boss whether you should be coming in at 8 o'clock like everyone else, or you want to negotiate coming in 9 and leaving at 2, probably not so much. Sometimes it's just the way it is. And I think it's really important that we have that balance where we have times where we can negotiate with our kids and times that it's just clear and firm and that's just the end of it. Love you, but this is the way it is. Okay, so what else can we do with part of what we can do too is changing our own thinking. So when we start looking at our kids, and we just stop and we just look at them like, okay, what are you going to be like as an adult? Is this a behavior I want to see when they are older? I've seen this in teenagers. Behaviors that are small when they're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old just get bigger and nastier and louder and more troubling when they're bigger. So I'm a really big proponent of dealing with behaviors when they're really, really, really small. For example, my mom was over one day. Here's a fun story. My mom was over one day when the licensing officer came by, and mom had come by for a cup of tea, and we're sitting outside, and the licensing lady was there, and my mom just, I just looked at one of the kids and just gave him a look, and and mom goes, she can rule a room with an eyebrow. Did that mean the kids were scared of me? No, absolutely not. They would call me while they were on vacation in another country. Like, they loved it because what I did is I saw a small behavior and I dealt with it while it was this big. So I didn't have to wait until it was a full blown this big. So when you start parenting using the 3 pillars that I teach all the time, you're going to become more and more aware of your child, and you'll be able to catch the behaviors because you're more tuned in sooner and sooner and sooner. So pretty much you're going to be at the point where you just kind of look at them and go, and they'll be like, okay, we're done. And it doesn't go anywhere. You know what that means? That means you guys are spending a lot more time together, enjoying each other's company. You get to enjoy being a mom. Your kid gets to enjoy being a kid without running them up, because there's nothing more unsettling for a child than to have so few boundaries and limitations and things that are set so that they can feel really, really safe. You want to freak out a kid, take away all their boundaries. You're going to have them running amok, losing their minds, because there is nothing to help them feel safe and secure. It's like when you swaddle a baby, they love it. They feel safe and secure. That's what your boundaries are. Boundaries like you help clear the table, you help set the table, you put your backpack away after school, you put your toys away when you're done, you put your clothes in the hamper, right? These are just the things that are expectations that give your child the structure that they need desperately to become the adults that you want. Okay, so when you're going throughout your day today, I want you to take a look at all the little ways. I want you to like really put on your hyper focus lens and really look at the little things that you do for your kids day in, day out. And you're just gonna be like, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's not wrong. I want you to have this awareness so that you can start going, is that something I want to continue, or do I want to change that? Is that going to serve my kids when they're adults, independent? Or is that going to be something that's going to come back and you're going to be like, it's making their life so difficult? And I keep kind of going back to the laundry and picking up their toys thing. It's about having them, teaching them, I'll get it, teaching them to have respect for their space, to have respect for the things that they've been given, to have respect enough to care for things, to put them away and so that they can use them next time. When they go to, let's say, borrow the car, they're going to put gas in it, maybe some gas. I mean, my son, one time he goes, Mom, I only had $10. So I put $5 of gas in, but I needed $5. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, but it didn't start when my kid was 16. This started when he was 3 and 4 years old. So giving your kids these expectations, encouraging them or requiring, it's okay to say, do it. Clean up your toys, put your blocks in the block bucket, crayons in the crayon bucket. Done. It's okay to say that, especially when you've, done all the other stuff and they're just, kicking up a fuss. Their arms aren't broken. They're good. Teach them. So catch yourself when you're doing this stuff. Think, how can I do this differently? How do I want to shift this? Do I want to be feeling in 10 years like I'm their servant? Because I've been there. I know what that feels like when you want to do all these things. You're working hard, you're earning your money, or you've been saving, or you're staying at home because you want to raise your kids, you want to do all these things. But there is such a thing as doing too much for your children, and it does not serve them. It does not serve you, and it does not help them to grow to be the adults that you want to be able to say, there you go, I know you're going to do great. And you know what? If you have trouble, I know I can be there to give you a hand up because we've done all the groundwork. What often happens, and I'm encouraging you to look at the situation from now when they're just little, and look at with your eyes to what the future will be, because sometimes we forget because we get so busy. I want you to look, is this what do I want my kid to go out there in the world and still need me to come over and put groceries in his fridge and come over and do his laundry? Yes, people do this. It horrifies me. When my son was my youngest son, oh my gosh, this is so fun. He moved out to go work on the pipeline. Now we're in British Columbia near Vancouver. He moved to Alberta to work on the pipeline, and he had his own place. And then not 3 months later, he goes, Mom, how did you not kill us? And I'm like, what? And he goes, my roommate leaves his crap everywhere. He doesn't pick up anything. He leaves his dirty clothes all over the place. He leaves towels on the floor. He never wipes up the counter. How did you not kill us? And I'm like, there you go. So yes, don't wait till your kids are 21 to figure this out. Start teaching them young. It's really important. And if you need help doing that, that's what I'm here for. So a big part of what I teach and what I encourage parents is not that you're doing anything wrong, because you aren't. What I want to teach you and what I do encourage you to do, and when you work with me, especially when we do our taste tester, where you get a week with me, is I get you to look at what you're doing with just a little bit different eye, to become a little bit extra aware of what you're doing, not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're probably not getting the behavior you want from your kids. If you've got lippy, smart mouthy kids, you're probably not recognizing how insidious it is. I got caught with that. My kids came down the stairs, their dad was outside to pick them up for the day, and he just went, hey, that is not how you talk to your mom. And I was like, I didn't even see it. So try and open up your eyes, and that's what we do. So when you work with me, I get you to look at the behavior, that maybe it's not just them being mouthy, or maybe it's not just them forgetting to put their dish in the sink or in the dish. They can put it in the sink and you have a dishwasher, they can put it in the damn dishwasher. Just saying, don't weenie whine out. Trust me, 2 and 3 year olds can carry their empty dishes and put dishes on the counter. They can do these things. They are really smart, because if they can operate an iPad, they can operate a broom. Just saying, or a cloth. So when you do that, and you get these, and then you understand the behavior, then you know where you need to go with your words and the result that you want from them. You can go from okay, they're being really defiant, to this is exactly how it needs to be, to these are the consequences that'll follow, that are natural or logical, so they connect with your kids, they make total sense in their brain, and they're likely to really not do it again. So that's what you do. That's what working with a parenting support coach, hello, me, gets you. It gets you an awareness, and then I give you the words. I help you be aware of the behaviors. I help teach you how to find things when they're itty bitty, so that you don't wait until they're really, really big and you are completely overwhelmed. And the next thing you know, you're getting phone calls from the daycare because your kid is like throwing toys at his friends and using them for a chew toy, or you're getting called down to the school because your kid is just being defined and isn't listening to the teacher and is, being generally a rebel rouser at school. Or worse, you're getting phone calls from the principal saying we had to, they're you need to come and take them out of school. Like, these are the things we don't want. We want to have our kids be successful and have the boundaries, the firm, clear, loving limitations and expectations of them that will enable them to be the adults we want. So remember, 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 little kids, little problems. Big kids, big problems. Thanks, Oma. My grandmother and my mom used to say that. It's like they always said, if you take care of your pennies, you'll never have to take care of your dollars. It's the same thing with your children. So on that note, if you have questions or anything that you want to ask me in regards to how you can, anything about this video or about working with me, don't be shy. I don't bite. My inbox is always open to you. I would love to hear from you. I am here for you to help you create the awareness of what your kids are doing or not doing so that you can adjust it, and you're going to spend less time feeling frustrated with your kids, less time feeling like all you're doing is after your kids, and more time really enjoying and connecting with them on a way that's going to last you not just through the toddler years, but for the rest of your life. I still have daycare kids that I'm in touch with, and some of them, it's been almost 20 years now. So when you create these things, it's a lifetime. So a small investment now of $197 can get you a lifetime of return. I say that's pretty good investment. Best ROI I've ever seen. So on that note, I'm going to let you guys go. I don't want to make these lives too long. Do make sure that you put in the comments any questions, any concerns. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if this is replaying. Don't be lazy. Just say hashtag replay. And I will come back with you guys on Wednesday to answer another parenting question. So don't be shy. I love to hear from you guys. Just remember, my inbox is open, and I know you're doing an amazing job. You're doing the best you can, but let's make it easier. Let's make it simpler for you so that you can really relax. And so will your kids. You'll watch the whole household change. It's amazing. It's really magic. All right, you guys, I love you. Have a great week.